What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Educated Barfly. Today we're going to be making a Benton's Old Fashioned. So the Benton's Old Fashioned is a very forward-thinking cocktail created by Don Lee while he was working at PDT in 2007. And it is this was the drink that popularized fat washing into fat washing cocktails. Like making cocktails with fat washing spirits is what I was actually trying to say. So the process of fat washing is something that we've done a video on. I'm sure you've watched it by now, but if not, go watch it now and then come back and watch this video. I don't want to explain too much about it because there's a lot to go into and I just want to get into the cocktail real quick. But basically, this was definitely the cocktail that kind of made that the mainstream thing. So what we're using is Bacon Fat Washed 4 Roses Bourbon. We're using the small batch 4 Roses at 90 proof, and you want to be doing, if you use another type of bourbon, it's fine, but make sure that it's above 80. Anything that's higher spirit, the higher proof spirits tend to extract flavor a little bit better than lower proof spirits. So at 90 proof, this is pretty good. And then also what's nice is that it's not like super, it's like really nice and mellow. And so those bacon notes are going to come out straight through. Otherwise than that, this is a very simple cocktail. And then the story behind it, before I forget, is that Don Lee wanted to do this. He went to a nearby restaurant called Momofoku. They were using this bacon called Benton's Bacon, which is what we used for the fat wash. It's a farm in Tennessee that makes this really very specific flavored bourbon. And I gotta say that I'm pretty sure that I read that Jim Meehan did not think that this was gonna work out and was like, I don't think that you should do this. I don't think anyone's gonna like it. And it ended up being one of the most popular sought after drinks at PDT. All right, let's get into it. Super easy cocktail. First thing we're gonna do is just a couple dashes of Angostura spirits. Did I say spirits? I meant bitters. A couple of dashes of Angostura Bitters. You know, you can tell that I've been doing this for a long time today. And then we're gonna do a 1/4 of an ounce of maple syrup. If you want the best flavor, you should be using like dark amber or like what was considered B grade. Today I'm actually using A grade maple syrup because that's what I've got on hand. But just FYI, for a little bit more flavor, a little bit more robust flavor, you want to do the dark amber maple syrup. And then we're going to do 2 ounces of the Bacon Fat Washed Bourbon. And then we're just going to add our big, nice rock of ice that I cut into a nice shape and stir our cocktail to temperature. I actually just finished making this, so it came out of the freezer, so it's pretty cold, which means that dilution is going to be tough to get. So it's going to need a little bit extra stir. I can smell that bacon from here, man. This is a phenomenal drink, I must say. All right. Well, I mean, we got enough dilution anyway because we had a little surface water on the ice. And then we're just going to cut a peel. And we're gonna spritz some orange oils on it. And there you have it, my friends. The Benton's Old Fashioned. Let's take a sip. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that is amaze. Amaze. So I've had these Bacon Fat Washed Bourbons before, but never with the true Benton's Bacon. And I will say this. Marius, I know you don't drink. You have to try this. It is amazing. So if you want to make this drink properly, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, you know what, this is too much effort, I don't want to do it. But if you want to make this drink properly, you should be using Benton's Bacon. You can order it online. The link is below. It's about $32 for 4 packages of bacon. And this bacon is so flavorful. It's so salty and smoked. And it gives such a good flavor to this drink that I can't help myself. It's like you get the bacon right up front, followed by all of those nice kind of like cherry sort of vanilla notes, really delicate on the back end, and then you have this nice like orange pop to it. This is phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal drink. Do yourself a favor, order the Benton's Bacon. Don't use Oscar Meyer. If you have a butcher in your area that does smoked and salted bacon that is comparable, then definitely do that. Oh, and I didn't even mention that like you can also taste those sort of like spiced notes from the Angostura. Today I want to talk to you about fat washing spirits. Fat washing spirits is a great advanced technique that is super easy to do, and it's basically taking a substance that's really high in fat and putting it into a spirit The great thing about fat content is that when you freeze it, when it gets cold, it solidifies, so you can basically whisk it out of your spirit, and it basically imparts the flavor inside the spirit. You can use any type of fat you want. You can use avocado oil, olive oil, butter, bacon. The guy who kind of originated this technique was named Don Lee. He was at the time a bartender at PDT, which is Please Don't Tell in New York City, and he purportedly ran over to a restaurant called Momofoku, which is nearby, and asked to borrow some bacon. They were using Benton's bacon from Tennessee, so we are going to be using Benton's bacon as well. Oscar Meyer Bacon is not going to suffice for this. This is smoked and salty. It has a very specific taste. You can order it online. The link is below. It is a little bit pricey, but it is worth it. If not, you have a butcher that does smoked bacon. I guess you can sub out for that if you'd like. So what you want to do is, I'm just going to explain this because I didn't think that showing you a picture of cooking bacon or a video of cooking bacon would really be that beneficial to you guys. But what you do is you cook the bacon on low heat. You want to do it on low heat because you don't want to burn the bacon, because you don't want to get any of those charred flavors inside the bourbon. We're using Four Roses bourbon because that's initially what Don Lee used, but also because it's a very delicate flavor and it comes in at 90 proof. Higher proof spirits tend to extract more flavor. So you should definitely use something that's a little bit higher. 100 proof tends to get a little spicy. This is very delicate in flavor, but it's good. It's a good high proof, over 80. So you want to use that. And it's a really easy thing. I got rid of my jigger, being like, I don't need my jigger, but I actually do need my jigger, so I'm just gonna get it. So I didn't forget it because it was on the set, and then I was like, I don't need my jigger, and I put it over there. And then I was like, wait a minute, I do need my jigger. Why did I do that? And so then I had to grab it. We're gonna make a half batch today because we don't need a full batch. We don't need 750 milliliters of bacon fat washed bourbon. So I like to make things in half batches. This will only last you a couple of weeks because this is a animal fat. It can go rancid. And I'll also just say, as a word of caution, please make sure that you cook the bacon fully so that you stay clear of any foodborne illnesses. If you want, actually, you can go to Camper English's, he does a safety in cocktail site. He got a grant from Tales of the Cocktail to do a food safety site. And the link is below. You should go check it out. And it does talk a little bit, some words of caution on fat washing, and it's definitely worth a read. It's short, but it's definitely just good for information. So check that out. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do, so we've already cooked you can see I have my bacon fat right here. I cooked it this morning. I tend to try and strain out like these little bits and bobs, but not too much. So I strain out most of them, but not all of them. They do impart some flavor. So first thing we're gonna do, I'll just put my bacon aside, is we're gonna do 350 milliliters of Four Roses small batch bourbon. And since this video is about just fat washing in general and not necessarily this particular cocktail, I will say this. This comes from Dave Arnold, and it's a good piece of advice. You have to really determine the strength of what you're fat washing. So, for instance, bacon fat has a very strong flavor, so you need to use less of it than you would, let's say, butter. And his rule of thumb is basically he uses about 4 ounces of stronger flavors and 8 ounces of something like butter, which has or olive oil or something that has a more delicate flavor. And then of course, think about what spirit you are fat washing. So for instance, if you put olive oil into bourbon, you might not get the most oily flavor. Maybe you want to do that into something like gin or something, or vodka, to kind of really capitalize on that flavor. But just a little word about that. And then also we are not going to do that much in this particular one. We're actually following Don Lee's recipe, his original recipe. So for 750 milliliter bottle, if you want to do a whole bottle, if you're going to be serving a lot of these to people, you want to do 1.5 ounces or 45 milliliters of the bacon fat. Today, since we're just doing 350, we're just going to cut that in half and do 3/4 of an ounce. So we're just going to measure out 3/4 of an ounce of our bacon fat, and we're just going to pop it in there. And I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but as you can see, it goes in like oil. Like you can see that sort of oil slick inside the thing. And what we're just gonna do is just take a spoon and we're just gonna give it a light mix. And then the rest is really easy. The rest is really easy. And I pre-prepped one of these earlier today so that we can actually finish the process. But basically, you let this sit for about 4 hours at room temperature, and you'll see that it'll start to solidify. And then stick it in the freezer for another 2 hours. I'm gonna go get the one out of the freezer that that I prepped earlier, and then you can see like exactly what we're gonna do with it. So let's get it out of the freezer. So here's the amount that I did earlier today. I'm just gonna wash this off really quickly, and we're just gonna pull this. So as you can see, the fat has completely solidified into a disc, and you can just pull it out of that is your bacon fat, and you can pull it out. So now I'm just gonna throw this bacon fat out. Hands are a little bit sticky and oily. I actually pre-prepped this bottle. I probably should have had it on set so that we could basically like that, right? And then what we're gonna do is we are going to, man, I did not think this through today. We are going to double strain. Sorry guys, that was a ton of forgetting. I know that that's kind of my thing, like forgetting things, but that was kind of a lot. So I apologize. And then we're just gonna double strain just to make sure we get all of the fats out. Just any little bits and bobs out of here. And as you can see, you got like a little ring of fat inside there, like right in there. We're gonna set this aside. This is made out of Pyrex, so it's not gonna break. I'm gonna rinse this out. Put this in here, well, dry it. God, there's so much stuff to this. Dry it, put this in here. And then we're just gonna bottle it. And I am not going to do this right now on camera, but you should always label everything that you make, because I guarantee you're going to make this. You stick it in your fridge. You should keep it in the fridge. And they're going to be like, what the fuck is this? Is this vermouth? I think it's bourbon. It kind of smells bacony. Oh yeah, you don't want to do that. You just want to say, oh, here it is. Bacon Fat Washed 4 Roses, or Bacon Fat Washed Bourbon 5/2, which is the date today. I made this on May 2nd. And then you know, this is what it is. So always label your bottles. All right, I think that's it, guys. So this was a little bit of a rambly kind of advanced technique. I hope you got our video. I hope you guys really like this advanced technique. Leave comments below, ask me questions, and I'll see you guys when we actually make the Benton's Old Fashioned. Until next time.